Welcome to the SLP Stress Management Podcast, your place to manage stress, reduce the risk of burnout, and find more balance in your life in and out of being an SLP, a helping professional, simply a human being. I'm your host, Jessie Andricks, and today we're going to be taking on positivity, but not in the way that you might think. Today, we're going to talk all about toxic positivity. So as a stress management coach and a mindfulness and yoga teacher, I talk about positivity a lot. If you've ever taken one of my courses or had an in-service or a workshop or a webinar with me, then you know that positivity is closely tied into the stress management practices that I share. I love sharing how positivity can help to manage stress and build resilience, and it is one of the foundational tools of stress management. But what about when it becomes toxic? When does being positive turn into something known as toxic positivity? Have you ever heard phrases such as good vibes only or just be happy? These are well-intentioned motivational phrases that also fall under the genre of toxic positivity. And for a long time, I kind of brushed this aside because I had used these phrases. In my yoga and group fitness classes, I often said, "You've got this," which could, in some situations, be considered toxic. I also have a shirt that says "Choose Happiness" that I sometimes just can't really bring myself to wear. I loved learning about the wonderful effects of positivity on stress and the brain, but there are times when this positivity can go a step too far and become toxic or potentially harmful. When you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, it can feel like there's nothing going right in your life and in the world, and your brain will continue to look for stress in order to protect you from it, which backfires. And this can keep you feeling more and more stressed. Often, especially when you're dealing with perfectionism, which is high in the field of speech-language pathology, this can make you feel like there is something wrong or that you are incorrect and have failed. And then the stress grows a little more. One thing you're likely to notice when you're stressed is the type of language and phrases people use to show support or to give you advice, and how these are often not helpful at all. You might hear from mostly well-intentioned people something along the lines of, "Look on the bright side," or "At least it's not as bad as this." These could come from a coworker, a boss, your parents, a neighbor, or even a really good friend just trying to cheer you up, or heck, it may even come from yourself. And while these are meant to cheer you up, the truth is these often have the opposite effect, leaving you more stressed, frustrated, and isolated, and maybe you don't need to be cheered up. So there's this clip from a movie. Let's just say it is a highly inappropriate movie called Get Him to the Greek, if you know, you know. But there is this clip where one of the characters is going through a very hard time. So he calls his mom and he asks for some, words of wisdom or advice. Is there anything that she can tell him? And she tells him, "Just stay chipper." She means well, but it does nothing to help him out or for him to feel that, she really heard what he was saying. And this can happen a lot in our own lives. You tell a friend that you're experiencing something really hard and are very stressed, and they tell you, "Just smile, feel better." And it feels as if you're talking to a wall, or that you must be wrong in being stressed, which you are not. This can happen because instead of acknowledging how you feel and how much that stress must suck, or maybe even sharing that you're not alone and they've been there too, and then sharing a here is what helped me, it just makes you feel that you're wrong and invalidates how you're feeling. It's like you have a dirty little secret to hide. The name for this is toxic positivity. According to the site Very Well Mind, toxic positivity is designed as the belief or defined as the belief that no matter how dire or difficult a situation is, people should maintain a positive mindset. With toxic positivity, you ignore the growing stress and carry on as if everything is okay. You just stay chipper. Toxic positivity can lead to things like shame, guilt, frustration, isolated, more stress and overwhelm. And please note that I am not a mental health provider, professional, or counselor, but this is simply information. And if you do need help, to reach out to one of those and seek help. So this doesn't mean that being positive or optimistic is bad or wrong. And this is what I really came to learn when I started to look into this more. It means that when it's made to ignore the stress you're facing and only see the good, that it's no longer helpful or a stress management tool at all. The phrase good vibes only pretty much sums it up. Only positive, no room for anything else. It's as if you're saying, that stress you're feeling, not allowed here, get it out. So have you ever experienced toxic positivity in your life from yourself or from others? If you'd like, share your experience in the comments below. And if you're looking to learn even more about toxic positivity or how it might be showing up in your own life and work, and how you can use positivity to build resilience without being toxic, join me for the March workshop, Toxic Positivity versus Positivity, in the Resilient SLP monthly workshop series. You can find out more details and how to join this series below at the Resilient SLP, or head over to jessieandrix.com and click on the membership tab. Thank you so much for tuning in today. With love and light, not positive vibes only. Thank you for being here. What if you could be surrounded by stressors, maybe even more than you're facing now, and not feel as weighed down or overwhelmed by them? And in those moments where you do feel stressed and weighed down, what if you knew that you didn't have to stay stuck there, or that you could come out of it sooner and stronger than in times past? Well, you can. There's a word for this, and it's called resilience. Resilience is exactly what we discuss and work towards in the Resilient SLP monthly workshop series. Each month we take an hour or maybe a little bit more live to discuss some ways that we can build resilience or incorporate practices that will help you to reduce the stress that you're facing, to build that resilience to it, and to continue to manage it even when things are incredibly overwhelming. I hope you'll join me for this ongoing monthly workshop series. You can check out more at jessieandrix.com on the membership tab.